years. If you really look at it, there was
Yeah.
a big lull. There was a lull, which still had a lot of intensity, but but it kept fighting. And one point on that a lot of people don't realize is that while the Korean War was incredibly intense from 1950 to 53, the war stayed for another almost 20 years.
Yeah.
And there was, and it wasn't just onesie, twosies of North Koreans fighting. If you look, and I recommend people just look at that on Wikipedia, you'll see there was battalion and regiment level incursions by the North Koreans in the late 60s, where you had up to, you had thousands of people on both sides fighting, and that were casualties. And most people would never say, if you answered, you're a nice student in high school and you get all your questions right, would ever say the Korean War lasted beyond 1950 to 53. So, and with the modern world, those kind of engagements can last for a very, very long time. And the only thing that put that to bed was, a lot of people don't know that the Chinese and the Russians almost fought a full-fledged war in 1968, 69.
Yeah,
That,
that's what we need now. That's what we need now.
I
But
mean, that's not
listen,
going to
yeah,
happen.
right. No,
That
of
wasn't
course not.
happening.
Of course not. But listen, we'll just table this until it happens, and we'll even see if they actually meet. Now the new thing I heard on the news is why I was listening to CNN all this morning just to see what they have to say, and there's a report that Trump is going to invite Zelensky to Alaska, but of course he's going to meet with Putin first. And there's no guarantee that Zelensky's
What I
even
don't
going to meet with Putin.
understand is at a practical level, and because there is someone really solid involved, it's General Kellogg, and General Kellogg is a very, very highly reputable, post-military leader, uh, uh, diplomat, military kind of a leader. Is that I understand the sort of Trump style to do deals and to kind of play with things and have playthings like a cat with mice, and I think that works with lots of domestic issues. I think it works with lots of small countries that are sort of single point of failure software almost. But when you're dealing with something this big with this many, it's really everyone that's big in the world, the Europeans collectively, the Chinese and the Russians, the Chinese indirectly, but the Chinese and then the Russians, that that the Trump style, which is sort of like startup studio hacking, which works on these smaller issues. With something like this, you really need to go into sort of Camp David, old school
Yeah,
planning
and it,
mode.
and
And
Trump doesn't want to do anything without the Europeans. In fact, he'd rather have Macron. Go ahead, Macron. You go in there and put your boots on the ground and help out, you
yeah, and no
dumbass.
one's putting boots on the ground, by the
No,
way.
nobody is. Nobody is. So
Not
it's
without
strictly Ukraine.
not
All right.
without
So
Russia's say. Not without
right,
Russia's say. Russia has a say
exactly.
in this,
You're
whether
right.
people like it or not. Yeah.
You're right. You're right, Mike. You're 100% right. All right, listen, we're going to move on. Let's very quickly around the horn do the redistricting. One sentence. What do we think with Texas now? Do we think the Republicans in Texas are going to succeed? Aaron.
I think they're going to show that they could succeed, and then they're going to administratively have exit stage, right?
Okay.
And that will be their sort of shot across the bow and see if there's someone that grabs the bait. I think this is a terrible game of chicken because you start to get into post-Trump world. Like, a lot of people don't realize these kind of things,
Yes, they
they
last.
they,
Yeah.
they turn
Yeah.
into Hatfield-McCoy
Yeah.
fights that
Yeah.
outlast everybody.
Yeah. Mikey, what do
Yeah,
you think?
I think it's an interesting distraction. I think this is the probably one of the more significant culture wars things that as Aaron touched on, that people in other states see these walkouts. One side sees them as heroic, the other side as theatrical. It's got that we're not going to take it kind of vibe, which is all all the
Yeah.
rage. And the thing, I think that it's very interesting. I absolutely do think that they will redistrict at the end of the day. Whether they'll be able to make use of that or not is another thing, politically or not. But we are we are in this era of what do you what do you bring more to the show than policy or process or whatever. It's all about, the news cycle and who can get the best zings in on social media and own the other side. So
I
this is
call
just
this
an extension of
performative.
that.
Yeah, I call all of this performative vandalism. I mean, that's
Yeah.
But
really.
at the end of the day, though, at the end of the day, the GOP has more to gain from this than the Democrats do. Because
Over the map, yes, they
well,
do.
because nobody
Yes.
gives a shit if California or New York or Illinois redistrict. Who cares? You guys were already
Well,
doing that
no,
anyway,
but Mike, that's a short-term view
Right.
of the wave advantage that you guys that on the right have in this cycle. Eventually, that cycle, finishes and or smooths out whatever. And if these fights still go on, and people in this country, one thing we do is we move around a lot. I mean, we just do,
Yeah,
and you will have a newly balanced structure that in 5 years might not benefit you in the same way.
Yeah.
sure.
And, and so then, it's going to be difficult for people to care about this in a post-Trump world and say, well, this is what you get when you try to politicize almost everything that exists. I mean, there's a reason we purposely created these breaks on doing things like redistricting only when it's census time, putting Federal Reserve and other positions as 5-year positions, because we want to try to make it independent of the hard political cycle. It's always still going to have some politics. It's part of the maybe soft political cycle. And when you harden it, and the world maybe changes, because I think it will, it always does, then it's, you can face the you can kind of reap what you sow
Right.
in a later date. And I don't think, if I'm being objective, I don't think this is a fantastic hill to die on, because the hill to die on is that if you had structured the big beautiful bill into dozens of small bills, so you can keep people's attention with 1 to 2 to 300 billion dollar legislating for months, quarters, all the way into next year, then you could sell, quote unquote, your benefits that you wanted to achieve. But when you backloaded it all away, and we're an attention economy, attention society, attention culture, well, you can't be surprised when people are like, yeah, whatever, the big beautiful bill, the IRA, the whatever. And both parties do this. They
Yeah.
want these sort of wins for the base, and they want them fast. And then the base comes in and says, well, if you don't do this now, you're, whatever, you're the enemy too, right? And so they respond, but then they lose all their political capital. And then a year and a half later, people are like, what? I don't know. I don't see it.
All right.
Well, that's
Yeah.
where you look for the term double haters.
Yeah.
Double haters are going to be
Fair way to look
the
at it.
headline for every or the sub headline for everything after, say, spring of 2026, like going into the midterms anyway. So no,
Well,
there
let's
is.
see. Here's a point too. Let's say this is all performative and nothing happens. Nothing happens in Texas, California does. Nobody does anything, right? And let's just say hypothetically, which is it's probably unlikely, but let's say the Republicans have a good midterm. Well, what do you think the Democrats are going to do to
Well,
counteract that down the road? You know
Well,
what I'm
like
saying?
just a small example of like those double haters that I was talking about. They're
Right.
everywhere. Okay, you
And in
have this
both
thing.
parties, by the way, they're in both
Oh,
Yes,
parties.
yes,
absolutely. Yeah,
100%.
you have this really the right, the true conservatives of the which used to run the party in the GOP. You have them kvetching about Trump said he put a little thing out, a little blurb out or leak out or whatever you want to call it about decriminalizing marijuana. All of those classic conservative folks are like, "What? No,
Yeah.
no, don't do that. We don't care. We don't." Whereas, that
The new right, the
40%
new right, the new
in the
right.
middle, yeah, in the middle, or like, yeah, hell yeah, let's go for it, like blah 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 blah. But how will that play into the overall thing? There's a push and a pull, and I don't, to be honest with you, even if this redistricting thing does come through and they can make use of it for the midterms, the GOP is already at a historic disadvantage, and arguably from the one big beautiful bill from that as well, because they for whatever reason there are parts of that bill that are actually, they're not super popular, but they're popular enough to win some races here and there. Not on a
Well,
great.
I question if any large, and I've said this to Kenny before, is that, and I think people in the media doesn't do this, and I don't mean like it's the evil media. I just mean like the way things are framed. So we're a $30 trillion economy. These bills, I mean, you can't pass anything in America from any party that's anything more than 3 to 5 trillion over 10 years. That's 300 to 500 billion a year. That's only 1%.
Right.
Right. So we talk, whoever passes a bill says this changes everything, and whoever's against it says this destroys everything. And the answer is most of the time this does almost nothing. And it's because it's only one max 2%. It's not even 2% anymore. And so I do think there's a constant overestimating what the actual benefits or impact will
Well,
be
right, but
from something.
here's the problem with the big bad beautiful bill with for Republicans is, the Democrats and the legacy media are latching on to this. Everybody's losing their health care. The way their messaging is, none of us will have health care with this bill, right? Which is a total fallacy. And in fact, nobody's losing their health care. If you don't follow the procedure, you'll lose your health care. They're
But
making
but
it
but but
harder.
but Kenny, you moving from an environment where I mean, I've always said this: when Democrats have full power, you get political, or you get healthcare access and coverage up to about 96, 7, 8 now. When Republicans have full power, it drops to about 93, 92, 3, 4. It just does because
Hmm.
of how they articulate the levers of the system. And I mean that's just a real thing. You can just follow it in this modern cycle over the last 15 plus years since we had ACA. And that is real. Like so those extra 8 million will come off the rolls in the next year, and they're trying to delay sort of the implementation. Um, and and we can say, well, we just changed the rules. You can keep your health care if you can do these 5 new steps. Well, the truth is, the part of the population that is going to be challenged to do those 5 new steps is the population that falls off the healthcare rolls. Those people still live and they still have healthcare costs. Now we just load the healthcare cost onto the system. We don't really change the price. We do basically a cost shifting game is what we do. That's
Listen,
yeah.
in its simplest terms, if my tax paying dollars are going towards helping people with, their health, I'm all for it. And I'm also all for, if you have to fill out a couple of extra pieces of paper to do it, do it. Okay. But I get it. I get it. And it's a lot of it's like nitpicky stuff like that because they want people to fall off the rolls. But
Yeah.
like you said, the problem is then it gets dumped on the healthcare system anyway.
Local,
Like
That's
you,
right.
your
you
local
know,
healthcare systems get
right.
overwhelmed, and then you have
Exactly. So that
debt
that's the
upon
problem
debt.
that these knuckleheads can never figure out. All right, so listen, we're gonna transition now. I'll talk first, and then I want Haley and Raleigh and Alan to come in. And Aaron, you'll comment as well about the picnic. So, yes, yesterday was the two-way fan picnic. Deborah Knox did a wonderful job of organizing. She put us under a big tree on the northeast end of the Sheep Meadow in Central Park. So we had complete shade. We had two lovely men oiling themselves up there on the side. I don't know what that was all about, but anyway, that was fun. And
It's 2025. Welcome to
yeah, no, it was
2025.
fun. It just like right in the middle of our party. That was the funny thing about it, is like they just plopped down and started. going to town, which was great. Love America. But anyway, it was great to meet Alan. It was great to meet Haley for the first time. Raleigh, who's my boy, got to see him. And then Raleigh was great because he went around with his phone with his mom on, so we all got to say hi to his mom. And of course, me and Aaron are friends. We've hung out several times. And it was just wonderful. It was a nice get together. And it's interesting, you have these Zoom friends, you make these Zoom friends, and you don't you don't really know the person until you meet them, and then you meet them and then you realize, yeah, these are my Zoom friends. They're actually my friends now. I've met Mike in person, I've met Aaron in person, I've met Dan Olivo in person, I've met Haley, I've met Alan, I've met Raleigh, I've met Peter Chott, I've met Raul. I'm going to meet Chris Simmons. Like, there's it just now we can put that human touch to this Zoom chat thing and make it inhabitable for all of us, and understand that whether we agree with each other, we don't agree with each other, we're all good people and we basically like each other. So I thought yesterday was a success and it was fun. And now I'm going to ask my cohorts to jump in. And also, I'm going to make Mike the host because I might have to slip out of here early. And if I do, I will just catch everybody on the
Oh, hey,
shows.
hey, hey, um, uh,
Yep.
Jimmy, you should switch over to your phone and stay
Phone.
host,
Yeah.
and then because so you can keep your YouTube.
Oh, it's because the stream will die if I
Yeah,
stop being the host.
that's right. That's right.
Okay. Well,
You just
all
switch
right.
over to your phone, and that's it.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm not
And
worried
you can
about
just
it
put
right
your
now.
phone up next, or just get off a video.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm not worried about it. All right, so who wants to come in? And I guess Mike, you'll referee, tell people to come in or whatever.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, let me allow people to unmute themselves for now, and then yeah, you guys can come on in. Come on in, Raleigh. Alan, anybody want to go first? I see Raleigh has his hand up. If you can hear me, Raleigh, and you have a good signal, otherwise somebody else can step up. You guys can unmute yourselves too, by the way.
Let's not all talk at once.
If I had a
Alan,
cattle prod, I would be prodding every one of
Alan's
you.
having a hard time unmuting. Let's see if we can. Can you get Alan to unmute?
Yeah, you got to unmute Alan.
What about Raleigh? All right, these guys are
Now
lit.
it's working. It wasn't allowing me to unmute. I was gonna
Okay.
let the hostess with one of the hostesses with the mostest, Miss Haley should speak first.
I
Ladies
can
first.
unmute now.
Okay,
There we
good.
go.
What about Haley? Can you unmute Haley? No, she's saying no. Mike, you're the host, so you got to figure that out.
Yeah, you should be able to unmute. The
You gotta
option is
ask
open.
her to unmute.
Oh, good
Yeah,
grief. All right,
yeah.
all right. Let
You
me
gotta
go ahead and
ask
do that.
each
Yeah, just
person
click on her
individually
box,
to
right?
Yeah,
unmute.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
All
there we
right,
go.
unmute.
Thank
Yeah.
you guys. Now I'm
There you go.
okay.
Okay.
So the picnic was fantastic. I posted my pictures in the chat if anybody wants to take a look. And if anyone has pictures, please send me. Um, it was awesome seeing everybody, getting to meet everybody. I made a little speech that unfortunately didn't record, so that was sucked. But um, yeah, it was truly a wonderful day. I'm kind of feeling it now. I think I'm getting like deathly sick because of everything, and my body is not cooperating. But it was all worth it, and truly, like as Professor Kenny said, you guys have become friends. It's not just make believe Zoom friends, real life friends, and it was truly an awesome experience, and we hope to do it again, and sometime next year, and hopefully it'll be better. But it was fantastic, and I have no complaints, and I hope everybody enjoyed themselves too.
Awesome. Yeah, great pictures, by the way, too. Thank you for sharing those, Haley.
Yeah, of course.
You and Daryl didn't hurt each other, did you?
Oh no, it was we strictly friendly interactions. No there was actually like some people who came, a couple of people who watch the YouTube and don't participate in the Zoom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like not a lot, but a few, and they were really really sweet and amazing, and they like recognized me and a few others, and it was just really cool to like meet people who there were some people who came who like aren't on the Zooms with us, so it was just really awesome to like kind of just gain more people to that we're all in the same kind of community, and it was really awesome. And Daryl was like king of the picnic. He came with the cooler, got brought all drinks, cold drinks. He was really awesome.
Great.
So, Raleigh, Alan, how do you guys feel?
I'm having it was everything I hoped for and more. Just meeting everyone and um speaking with everyone and getting to know everyone in person. It was fun. Um, the Daryl's cooler was a behemoth. I was the work mule.
You literally, just so you guys know, we had an amazing spot, but it was like from the entrance to the park, it was a trek. Okay. It was like, I don't know in distance and miles, whatever, but we we had to like, let's say go pick the spot, then we had to go back, help Daryl, then we had to bring his stuff there, then we had to go back to Target and buy our stuff, and then we had to come. I mean, it was just like work. It was a work day. It was a work morning for sure. But like I said, I would do it all again. No complaints. It was worth it. And you just forget at New York City and how much walking and how much like true effort it takes in New York City. But it
Yeah.
was
Was it anybody's first time trip to NYC at all from the people who showed up?
My first time like
That's
really
what I thought. Yeah.
staying in New York City. I never stayed. I was in New York City for like 4 hours when I was 19 and just but this was my first time staying, so it's been awesome. I mean, I love the walking. I think I did more steps in the past 2 days than I've done in the past 6 months in Tallahassee. Um, so
yes. I
but
walked more yesterday than I have, I think, since I was a freaking teenager in New York City.
but it was worth every second of it. And and um Kenny's Jackie's taco salad was like fantastic. It was one of the best things I've ever eaten. So I definitely need that recipe. Um and it was really nice to meet Jacqueline Marie. So it was nice to see her and talk to her and get to know her a little more and her brother and you know and just seeing everyone there. It was heartwarming.
Yeah.
It like warms my heart. It makes me happy and it makes all the driving and all the everything just worth it and then some. So that's what I got to say.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, and for the people that are still there that have to travel home, make sure you be safe when you go home. So
Yeah, I'm not driving 18 hours home. I'm gonna break that up into a day and pra-
Yes.
smart
practice
man.
practice Professor Kenny's. I'm gonna probably sleep at a rest stop one night and just chill. So
Did Dan show up?
no, Dan T is going to get the wrath of the picnickers.
Yes. He was in the Hamptons,
Oh.
Oh, how sad.
enjoying himself a little too much, as we all think. But he did write an email, and so he like he didn't just like uh
No show, no call,
ghost
no
us.
show.
Exactly.
Well,
He
that's
did contact us, but it really like regardless, it was awesome. And I think they're going to be excited to hear that we all got together anyway.
yeah. Ribbon had asked in the thing when and where is the next one? I think that's
Well,
the,
I
if
think
it's
we should
anywhere else
do
but New York, someone else is planning it.
yeah.
That's all I got to say.
I think we should do Atlanta with Atlanta should be the next one.
Shay would say we should just do New York again because, like, if it's a place like Atlanta, I'm not going. I'm not getting an airline ticket and stuff and renting a hotel just to go to Atlanta.
Atlanta has the worst airport.
Yeah, I mean, I have no interest in going on vacation to Atlanta. Since I've been here, I've been all over Manhattan and I've been to Times Square, I've been to
Maybe we can do
Tower.
like somewhere in the middle, like DC or something.
I wouldn't mind DC, but yeah, I've had a wonderful time since I've arrived here. I've walked all over the place. My first day here, I was here just a few hours and I'd already walked all over Central Park. Um, this morning this morning I woke up and I've already walked all over the place. I've already been to Times Square again this morning, and I went over to Fifth Avenue and looked at all the shops. They're closed. They were closed this morning, but I wasn't gonna buy anything. Yeah, so, but no, I'm not going to Atlanta. I'm just gonna sit that one out.
It's nice to walk outside and not sweat to death, huh, Raleigh?
Oh my God, no, I've not gotten hot one time.
That's because
Oh,
you live in Texas, so right there, you're in winter right now.
yeah, yeah. Oh, the weather's so fine. So fine. And like
That's
the
unusual
sun,
for this time of year, right, Haley? Isn't it usually hot and
Oh yeah, it's really we've been blessed with like a week of just perfect fucking weather. I mean, it's like right now it's 77 degrees, something like that. Breezy. No, not a cloud in the sky. It's really unbelievable. It's
Wow.
about till Wednesday it's going to be like this. So we really lucked out. Like the weather was not a given, you know? It could have been totally opposite.
hey, are you feeling any of those earthquakes coming from New Jersey?
I haven't felt anything.
I saw something where they found some lava blob under New York, but don't worry, it's not supposed to surface for 10 or 15 million years.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not gonna stress over that one.
Wow, Jackie's pictures are amazing.
They're great.
Amazing.
It'll probably surface by the time I get out of Lincoln Tunnel when I'm driving out.
Um, yeah, I mean, would have to be like a tourist city or like a city that people like
You could
Denver.
always go the other side and go to LA or go to Austin. It's right in the middle.
We definitely
I already
could.
live in Austin. Don't come to Austin. The sun is so hot there. It like beats down on you. It's the most brutal sun ever. Um, no, go somewhere else.
We could do Vegas. Everybody can get into Vegas, and we'd help the local economy
I
there
would go to
too.
I
Oh
Vegas.
yeah,
love Vegas.
Vegas. We're all going to be just a bunch of. It's going to be a bunch of debauchery. All of us in Vegas. I don't trust any of us.
I would do Vegas before Atlanta. I just have no interest in going to Atlanta.
Way
But
out,
Vegas
way
in
out
like
New York.
Vegas in like
Chicago. Then you can go to a Wrigley game.
Vegas in
Yeah.
October,
Or
There's
get
not
really not a
shot.
lot
summer.
in Chicago either. I could do Nashville. That's not bad.
I've never been to Nashville.
Everybody could get into Chicago.
Not
Everybody
bad.
could get into Vegas. Everybody could get into DC fairly easily. For sure, LA. Everybody can get into there for sure. Like
I
there's
could do
major hubs.
Vegas because I have a place to stay and I won't have to like spend so much. So, so
Do you,
let's shoot for Vegas.
do you know what's crazy? So in Florida, I chew tobacco. That's my vice. But in Florida, a can of the tobacco I chew is almost $11.50, right?
Sanity.
In New York City,
How much?
it was $10. I didn't buy it.
What?
I
That's
was
incredible.
I was like, this is crazy. Florida vice taxes their tobacco,
Is
but
that the only thing that is less expensive than anywhere else in New York
I
City?
No,
think
there's a
so.
lot of stuff. I mean,
I was talking with the bodega guy. I was like, holy crap, man. I was like, I could actually do better buying my tobacco here.
I paid when I lived in Dallas, I paid 10 or like 9.80 for a pack of cigarettes.
Holy
New York
crap.
City, New York. Wait till you hear New York City. I even Queens is like $1 or $2 cheaper. But yesterday I had to buy cigarettes in the city, and it was I think $20 or $21 a pack.
Are you
Jesus
kidding?
Christ.
Swear
Oh
to you.
my Gosh, I'm so old.
Swear
I
on
remember
my
when people
life.
would buy like
That's
99-cent packs of cigarettes.
like
Where I
20
live, it's 18, but in the city, in Manhattan,
for,
it
for
was 20.
for one pack of cigarettes.
One pack of cigarettes.
20 cigarettes.
20 cigarettes, $1 a cigarette.
Holy cow.
But
I mean, I
It's
haven't looked. I wonder how much it
insanity.
is in
That
California then,
is a
because I
way
haven't paid any
to
attention.
that's a way to police people's usage for sure,
Yeah,
sure
yeah.
economically.
Isn't America about freedom to kill yourself?
well,
It should be.
that's why I drive to Georgia to get my tobacco usually. But like on my way home, I'm just gonna hit. I found South Carolina has the cheapest, so I'm gonna hit there. And I heard Delaware has no tax. So if it's like $6 a can with no tax, I'm gonna
I'm sure you can find
I'm
like
gonna I'm
Plan
gonna
a route
such cheap.
to the sale of your tobacco.
what?
I said, plan your route for your tobacco savings.
My
Um,
mom, my mom, when we were even like when I used to live here, like 20 years ago, cigarettes were I think 14 or 15 in the city. She used to drive across the border to Long Island because they were $7 or $8. This was like 20 years ago.
I know
So
a lady who recently passed that lived in Orange County, and she would tell her family that she was going to get a pack of cigarettes, and she would drive to the border of Nevada and LA and get her cigarettes because it was cheaper and she
yeah,
could gamble. And then they'd be like, "You were gone for like 7 hours." Or like, she's
two
like,
for
"Yeah, it
one,
was cheaper for me to get it in Vegas or in Nevada,
2 for 1,
and I can gamble too."
two
But
for one special.
But with the picnic, I mean, it was so great to meet everyone. I mean, and there were like Haley mentioned, there were some people who watch on YouTube who don't, go into Zoom. So they knew Haley because Haley's pretty prominent when Mark calls on her a lot. But the two of the people were actually
They also recognize Daryl though.
yeah, they have a podcast called Ask a Jew, and I listened to it last night, and it was really good, and they were really nice.
Yeah, and they have all like our people, like the people that we all love. Like they had Michael Moynihan on. They have had Olivia Reingold. She's coming on, I think, next week. Um, they do talk about all the Jewish issues in Israel and stuff, but they were the woman who runs it, Yael. She was so sweet, and I think Deborah invited these people because she's like in I guess a bunch of different types of groups. So Deborah invited them, and they turned out to be really really amazing. Two of them were more in the fifth column like community, and they were really amazing, like truly intelligent, smart, really sweet
For the
women.
ones of you guys that are still there, are you guys going to get together again today before you leave?
Well, that's up to the ones in the city.
How far are you from the city, Haley?
I'm an hour by subway.
Okay, it's not too bad.
No, it was really, I thought it was going to be a lot worse, but it was like, gotta say, public transport in New York is top tier. Really is easy and cheap. And they have fucking police stations in every station in New York City now. There are at least two cops on every station that I stopped at. And I saw, I went 25 stops, for example. Every single station, there were at least two policemen patrolling the stations.
Wow, that's good.
I was surprised how much I enjoyed this city, and I have a better understanding of like
Well,
like
okay. We were in the Upper West Side where things are very nice and things are very clean and sterile and touristy, and it's a great. I don't. But I was honestly impressed, like with the city. Like I thought I haven't been in the city like on my own. I think I went once with my dad to dinner, but other than that, like I haven't been on my own, just like walking around. And I was honestly I thought it was just going to be like a bigger shithole because of everything that's been said and saying. But now I realize like you got to take everything with a grain of salt because they're really like everybody was kind and nice. We met like this woman at the beginning of like the entrance. Like we were waiting for the part to open where we could go and get our spot for the picnic. There was this woman there. She had like how many bags? Like a cart, bags, like so many things. She was obviously like getting a spot for a picnic, but we were just sitting there talking to her, and she was like so sweet. We helped her with her bag. She was so appreciative. Like, like people say, like New York, it's just like the impression that you get from what you hear is really not the facts on the ground, as I saw yesterday. I don't know if you guys agreed.
No, I somewhat agree. I mean, I would have to see the rest of the city, but like my take
Of
is
course.
when I hear like so like I hear people who are talking about Mondami like he's the second coming, and then I see like Deborah's trepidations about Mondami and even Andre's trepidations about the guy running the city. I understand what some of their fears of what will happen if this guy, runs the city, and like what will happen to the pristine parts, or these parts, what's going to happen under his leadership by putting Jamal Bowman in charge of education, and
Yeah.
putting someone who wants to dismantle the police force. The police are everywhere. I walked into a bodega and the police looked at me and followed me in, and I'm like, why am I on this guy's radar? I'm not doing anything wrong. But
It was
like
your new haircut.
it's my new haircut. But I mean, I see police everywhere, and you know, and then you look at New York per capita, they have more police than anywhere in the world. It's almost like a army almost. And what do you do when you cut that by another 15%? What's gonna happen? So like I have a better understanding, and like talking, especially talking with Deborah for a good amount of time, and Andre, I got a better understanding of some of their trepidations. But I love this city. Like I'm bringing my daughter here. We're gonna come here, and we'll probably come in the spring, not the winter time. Although the winter time will be cheaper, but
Oh, then I have to meet her. I'm dying to meet her.
yeah.
But I gotta go, guys, and I hope everybody has a wonderful Sunday. And I'll see you all in the morning.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thank
Have
you,
a good day, guys. I gotta go too.
and thank you
It's
guys
Sunday.
again for everybody who came to the picnic, and it was awesome. See you guys tomorrow.